Do you believe in retribution? At the age of 35. Gave birth to a child. Back then, his mother pointed at me and called the baby in my womb an illegitimate child. Now she's crying and begging me to let her see her child. That year, 18-year-old Lin Zichen held my hand in the snow. He told me he meant it seriously. In the end, they just left me behind in an apartment in Hangzhou. Now he appears on the ship ticket. The plaintiff is the person who filed the lawsuit. I stared at Lin Zichen's name on the ticket for a long time. It was so long that my husband finally turned off the range hood, coming out with 2 bowls of noodles. I'm still daydreaming. Time flies so fast. I'm in my 40s now. Remembering the first time I met Lin Zichen, it was many years ago. I was 35 years old that year, still working as a tutor in Shanghai. People who graduated from small counties in Anhui. It's not easy to gain a foothold in Shanghai. Students I've taught, from elementary school to high school, I had it everywhere. Parents pass the word from one another. They say that although I, teacher's son, am young, but being down-to-earth and responsible leads to results. Mrs. Lin was introduced by a referral. Her home is in Lujiazui, a house over 200 square meters. The floor-to-ceiling windows in the living room face the Huangpu River. That day, I wore the only suit of mine that didn't have any pilling. Shirts with free shipping for orders of 99 pieces or more. Fainted for half an hour before going. He was leaning back on the sofa. At the age of 17 or 18, her eyes and brows are truly beautiful. A smile typical of those from wealthy families hung on his lips. A smile that doesn't care about anything at all. When Mrs. Lin introduced me, he didn't even lift his eyes. Zichen, this is teacher's son. He uttered an "oh." Then she looked up at me. Just that one time. That layer of lazy disdain cracked open a fissure. I'm not surprised, because I've seen this kind of look too many times. I've seen it since I was 20. The female tutor is young and has a pure-looking face. It's inevitable that they'll become those little boys who are just beginning to fall in love. Objects of attention. But Lin Zichen's attempts at probing seemed extremely childish. Spraying coffee on purpose, asking some tricky questions. Stop me when I get to the important points. I wiped away the coffee stains. Then turned to the page we just discussed. Without even looking up, she asked, "Can we start class now?" He was stunned for a moment. He laughed and then told me. It was just that 1 second. He thinks I'm different. My name is Sun Lina. I wasn't married at the age of 35. It's not that I don't want to. It's because my father injured his back in his youth. My mother worked in a textile factory her entire life. My brother is 8 years younger than me. Congenital heart disease. My salary is divided into 4 parts. Rent and living expenses. Money given to the family. My brother's medical expenses. During the blind date, as soon as the other person heard about my situation, everyone found some excuse to leave. Over time, I'll stop thinking about it then. Lin Zichen's pursuit. At first I thought it was just a joke. What does an 18-year-old rich young man know about how to live a proper life? But he really isn't like other wealthy young men. He's very obedient. I also study very hard. Will remember many little details about me. Until that rainy night. He said, "I don't care about you." At what age? I'm really tempted. I'm alone in the vast city of Shanghai. I've struggled for so many years. I'm really tired. I also wish there was someone I could rely on. Even if it's just for a short period of time. Going to Hangzhou was the most impulsive thing I've ever done in my life. While packing my luggage, I stared at that broken suitcase that had followed me for 6 years. Hot eyes. These years in Shanghai. Finally, I've got stable students. Good reputation. Although small, it's a rental house that can keep out wind and rain. All of them need to be thrown away. He held my hand on the high-speed train and said, "We'll be fine." I stared out the window without saying a word. I really wanted to dream during the first month. Apartments by Westlake. He's working on a business plan. I'm looking for tutoring information in Hangzhou. I have 80,000 in my savings. Spent who knows how many years saving it up. It was originally supposed to be the deposit for my brother's surgery. 2 months? His business plan was rejected by 3 investment companies. We moved to the old neighborhood. Monthly rent, 1,800. I started to mentor 4 or 5 students every day. Left home at 6:30 in the morning. Got home after 9 p.m. The legs are swollen. My voice is hoarse. But I can earn just over 10,000 a month. Enough to last until the 3rd month. I found out that I'm pregnant. That morning, I puked into the toilet for ages. Then I looked at the 2 red lines on the pregnancy test stick. Sat on the floor for 20 minutes. 35 years old and still unmarried. The child's father is 18 years old. No stable income. I didn't tell him. From the riverside apartment to the old dilapidated building. From a wealthy young man to having nothing at all. He was already on the verge of collapse at that point. He smokes every day. Insomnia is becoming increasingly silent. Once he broke a bowl at home. I looked at the broken porcelain shards on the floor. Didn't say anything. What can I say? They said I'm pregnant. They say you need to grow up faster. Make money quickly. Hurry up and take responsibility. That would only scare him away. And I myself wasn't even aware of it. I'm still trying to protect his pitiful sense of self-respect. That night, when he left, I woke up and he got dressed in the dark. Got the wallet. Opened and closed the door. Footsteps faded away in the hallway. Until it's completely silent. I kept my eyes open, staring at the water stains on the ceiling. I called him many times. Sent a lot of messages. One concern is his safety. And I also want him to know that he's going to be a father. Maybe he'll be happy to hear this news. When I grow up, I want to give us a home. But in the end, he didn't answer the phone at all. Didn't reply to a single message either. I lay in bed for 2 days. Then get up to eat and take a shower. Go to the hospital. The doctor said that having a miscarriage at your age carries risks. That day, I sent Lin Zishan my last message. Tell him I'm pregnant. But he still hasn't replied. Later, I returned to Shanghai. Gone to see Mrs. Lin. I want to give my child one chance. The result that can be obtained is... She pointed at my stomach and cursed, saying the baby in my womb was an illegitimate child. They won't recognize them. At that moment, my heart just died. But it was also at that moment. I felt him move gently inside my belly. It's like you're asking what's wrong with me. I suddenly started crying. But then she laughed again. Why should I let someone else decide his life or death? I'm going to give birth to him. Raise him properly. But determination alone can't fill one's stomach. When the landlord knocked on the door at the end of the month, I can't even afford this month's rent. Finally, I called my mom. It was the first time I asked my family for money. For 10,000 yuan, my mom didn't ask anything at all. Just say that Nair couldn't stay outside any longer, so she went home. I held the phone and didn't dare make a sound. Later, Sister Wang introduced someone to me. Li Jiangwo, 42. State-owned enterprise logistics. 3 years since divorce. The child didn't have polio when they were young. It can be told just by walking. But it has a 2-bedroom, 1 living room apartment. The location is okay. I remained silent for a long time. Sister Wang pats my hand, Lena. I know it's not easy for you. But the child needs to have a household registration. Someone needs to lend a hand. The people who founded the country really said it. I don't mind if you have children. And that's how I met Li Jiangguo. He doesn't talk much. Brought fruit with me when I came. Only foods that pregnant women can eat are selected. He rubbed his hands together, thinking about your situation. Sister Wang already said it. I can't speak. But you need to be willing. I'll be good to the child. Really, he looked me in the eyes. No pity. Didn't take a look. There's only one kind of sincerity, the simplest, most genuine kind. I watched his right leg, which dragged slightly as he walked. Looking at the scattered white hairs at the sides of his hair, suddenly felt, perhaps this is my fate. I admitted it quickly. We just got our marriage certificate. No wedding. Didn't take wedding photos. I moved that little luggage into his 2-bedroom, 1-living-room apartment. Lele was born in the spring of the second year. 7 pounds and 2 ounces. Crying with full force, I named him Li Zhail. Never heard of contentment brings happiness. It really hurts. He won't hold the baby. Just learned clumsily. He rushed to prepare formula and change diapers. When the child cries at night.
He gets up even earlier than me.
Once I had a fever. He took time off and stayed at home. Holding Lela in one arm. Make me porridge with your own hands. Life is as monotonous as plain water. He goes to work while I take care of the kids. Have dinner and watch TV together tonight. Not much talk, but there's a kind of unspoken understanding between us. Lele is growing up day by day. The eyebrows and eyes gradually develop over time. Sometimes when I look at him, I'll feel dazed, lost in thought. Those eyes that curved into smiles. Looks exactly like Lin Zixin. I proposed going to the Bund that night during the founding of the country. The evening breeze at the end of summer. The fishy smell of the river water. Django picked up Lala and placed him on his shoulder. He excitedly pointed at the Oriental Pearl Tower in the distance, babbling and shouting nonsense. I followed behind, carrying a kettle and my coat. Then I saw him. Through the crowd, several years later, that silhouette stood by the edge of the viewing platform. Standing beside her was a young woman. It must be his wife. They were whispering something to each other. A faint smile on her face. My footsteps stopped there. There was a moment of daze. Until Layla called out for Mom, I just came back to my senses. I instinctively took a step forward. Standing sideways in front of Zhangguo and Lele, clutched tightly at the hem of Lala's pants that hung down. Zhangguo looked down at me. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I said it's a bit cold. Let's go home. I thought this matter was over now. Life goes on just as it always has. Until that Tuesday afternoon. Lele is sleeping. I'm doing the laundry. The phone rang. A number. I picked up the phone. Teacher Zhao Sun. That voice came after 5 years. I recognized it right away. Mrs. Lin, I didn't say anything. She said I wanted to meet with you. Let's talk about the children. I said my child has nothing to talk about with you. I hung up the phone. Blocked this number. But after that phone call, my heart is blooming. I can never sleep peacefully at night, always waking up in fright. Dream that someone took Layla away. Every time it's the nuts that wake me up. Hold me and Lele, who's sleeping in your arms together. Over and over again in the darkness, whispering that it's okay, that nothing's wrong. I asked around after I got here. Why would Ling Jia suddenly ask me to have a child with her? Wang Ji told me. It's because Lin Zichen was diagnosed with weak sperm. The Lin family is desperate now that they can't cure it. That's why I thought of your Lily. The moment I heard the news. Suddenly, it seemed a bit ridiculous. Back then, she refused to acknowledge this child even under threat of death. Today, the cycle of cause and effect. This is the only bloodline they have left. I remember the day I received a call from Lin Zixin. I'm completely confused. It's been 7 years. This name is like a scar that's become scabbed over. I thought I'd long since forgotten what pain felt like. But when his voice came through the receiver, another scar was torn open again. He said many apologies on the other end of the phone. Said that he was the jerk back then. He said he's lived with guilt all these years. He said he'd been looking for me for a long time. But I can't listen to a single word of it. His mind was filled with memories of his mother pointing at my belly back then. The way of cursing bastards. I hung up on him. But he wouldn't give up. Keep calling over and over. I couldn't help but answer. Scolded him mercilessly. Lin Zixin, are you ever going to stop? This child has nothing to do with you. It was your family who didn't want it in the first place. Why are you coming here to recognize someone now? He remained silent for a long time. I just want to meet him. I didn't agree to just one of them. Hang up and block. The days have become quiet. A few days later, I received that court summons. When I saw that piece of paper, my hands are shaking. He's racing to gain custody of the child. I was so angry that my whole body went cold. I called him on my own for the first time. The moment the call connected, I didn't think about anything. Spouted out every curse word I could think of. I asked him how he had the nerve to fight me for custody. It was you who chose to leave without saying goodbye back then. It's also your choice to choose not to take it. You can't have children anymore. I thought of my child. Why is there no one on the other end of the phone? Wait until I'm done cursing. Let me cry my heart out first. Lin Zixin finally said, I'm sorry. I know I don't deserve it. I just want to meet her. I'm begging you. Let me see my daughter. She said she had a major surgery. Passed through the gates of hell once. Realized a lot of things clearly. He said, the people he's most sorry for in his life are me and Lala. He said he didn't mean to disturb our lives. He just wants me to give him a chance to make amends for what's happened between us. I'm holding the phone. Haven't said a word in half a day. That night, I told my husband about this. After he listened, silence for a long time. I spoke carefully and cautiously. If you don't want to, I won't let them meet. He looked up at me. Let him meet up with them then. Kasi Lele. We won't be able to live in peace going forward either. After all, he's the child's biological father. But don't worry. Lele will always be my daughter in my heart. I leaned my head on his shoulder. Tears started flowing again. He didn't try to persuade me not to cry. Just hold me in your arms, patting my back gently over and over again. Later, I still took Lele to meet Lin Zixin. Meeting at the children's play area in a shopping mall, I took Lele's hand and walked in together. From a distance, I could see him sitting on a chair in the area. There's a huge teddy bear right beside me. He's much more mature than he was at 18, but the person is extremely thin. There's no more of that boldness in his eyes now. All that's left is caution and trepidation. The moment he saw Lele, my eyes turned red. He crouched down, reaching out to hug Lele. Lele hugged my legs, a little shy, unsocial. Tilting my head, I asked who my uncle was. I said it's an uncle who really likes you. Go and hug him. Lele is very well behaved. Let go of my legs. Hugged Lin Zixin's neck. At that moment, he cried. That afternoon, he took Lele to ride the small train. Eaten ice cream. What's Lele playing? He was just standing there, watching. Not much talk, but her eyes were constantly on Lele. Later, Lele got tired from playing. He crouched down and carefully asked his uncle, Can I give you a hug? He opened his arms so he could be picked up. Lin Zixin held him in his arms, hugging as if holding some fragile treasure. The eyes are red, yet the corners of his mouth were raised. When leaving, he hesitated for a long time, then took out a bank card from his pocket. The money in here is for you and Lele. I can get a bigger house instead. You can also find a better kindergarten for Lele. What's left is enough for us to live together nullessly. I looked at that card but didn't pick it up. He pushed it forward again. My hands are a little shaky. I don't mean anything else. I haven't taken care of him for a single day in all these years. I owe you two something. Just think of it as me buying some peace of mind. I still didn't pick up that card in the end. I said I'm hungry. I don't need these. He has a father and a mother, living pretty well. If you really want to be good to him, disturb him less in the future. That's the greatest kindness one can show him. He withdrew his hand. just nodded and said nothing else. Later, Lin Zixin withdrew his lawsuit. Later on, Mr. Lin and Mrs. Lin came by twice. They're not as lofty and superior as they used to be. When I saw him, the words came to my lips, but I swallowed them back. With a cautious, obsequious expression on his face, he tried to please them. Bought a lot of things for Lele. Lele calls them Grandpa and Grandma. They responded accordingly. The eyes are red. I didn't stop Lele from calling them. They weren't stopped from coming to see him either. But that hurdle in my heart is still there. Life returned to its usual calm. Lin Zixin occasionally comes to see Lele. Occasionally, I also allow him to take Lele to his parents' house. Perhaps it's due to blood relations. Lele really likes him. I feel relieved too. I don't hate anymore. A few more people who love Lele have appeared in the world. It's also good to go home that night. Lele held the toy that Lin Zixin had given him. Insists on sleeping between me and Jiang Guo. He slept very soundly. Her little face is rosy. A smile still hung on their lips. Jiang Guo turned to look at his sleeping face. He said softly that he was happy today. I nodded. He held my hand. Interlacing the 10 fingers of the hand. Nothing else was said. From a $1 million internet celebrity to an AIDS patient. I only used it for a month. A lot of the time, I keep thinking about it. If that private message didn't exist, if not for that proverb under the starry sky, my life should be very different, right? My name is Yoyu. The beginning of my absurd story took place in Tibet. That night filled with stars. I and that boy were wearing the same military coat. Sitting outside the tent. He pointed at the sky and said those were the cowherd and weaver girl stars. I laughed at him for being a grown man yet still looking at the stars. Is it vulgar or not? He turned his head. Looking at me with affectionate eyes, she said softly, Yo-yo. Some stars seem close when viewed. Actually, it's tens of thousands of light years away. But some people have just met each other recently. Yet it feels like we've known each other for half our lives. Thinking about it now, that's quite ironic to say. Hello everyone. 2 years ago, I'm still someone who makes travel videos. A girl who supports herself. My family's financial situation is quite good. Living in the third ring road of Beijing. A proper Beijinger girl. From the very beginning, my parents kept scolding me for not focusing on my responsibilities. Later on, I saw that my fan base had grown to nearly 1 million. I just turned a blind eye to it. I don't have any big ambitions. Just love driving around everywhere. I've driven on all the roads in Xinjiang, Qinghai, and western Sichuan. Last October, I'm wondering where to go next. A private message popped up. The person who sent the private message, the profile picture shows a guy with a beaming smile. He said he's been paying attention to me for a long time. Consider me a die-hard fan. I have a fleet of vehicles ready for a self-driving trip to Tibet. Ask me if I'm interested in joining. I checked his profile. All are videos of outdoor sports. Rock climbing, skiing, hiking. Looks pretty sunny. One person in Tibet. I really didn't. I'll tell you after I've been there. It's safe to follow the convoy. I just replied, okay. Meet at a cafe in Sanlitun. I was 10 minutes late. As soon as you enter, you see a boy sitting by the window. Wheat-colored skin. Wearing a simple gray hoodie. Looking down at my phone. It's as though it senses me. He raised his head. She smiled at me. How should I describe that kind of smile? It's not that kind of greasy, flirtatious smile. It's completely clean. Like the sunshine in Tibet, free from smog. He stood up, one head taller than me. Stretch out your hand, Yo-yo. I'm Zhou Ocean. Finally, I've seen a living one. He made me laugh. What you're saying, I'm not some big shot or anything. You already are. He looked at me seriously. The video you shot in Qinghai last year. A person waiting for sunrise at the Shaka Salt Lake. We're a red windbreaker. I still remember that scene to this day. My heart skipped a beat. That feeling of being remembered by strangers. Later, we talked for 2 hours. He said he reviews extreme sports equipment, running all over the country, this time in Tibet. I teamed up with a few friends who also like off-roading. A few cars and a dozen people asked me if I'd like to go together. I said okay. Drive my car. There's someone talking on the road. He was stunned for a moment. Are you sure that path isn't difficult to walk on? With a stylish wave of my hand, I drove away in the car. Aren't cars made for that very purpose? At the end of October, we set off from Chengdu. A few cars are really domineering. There are cow herds. My Tank 300 doesn't lose value even when it's in the middle. In the first couple of days, everyone was polite to each other. On the third day, we went up to the plateau. Some people are vomiting violently due to high-altitude sickness. Someone started singing at the top of their voice. The atmosphere instantly turned wild. Zhao Tian is sitting in the passenger seat. Keep patiently reminding me, there's a pit ahead, be careful. There are too many large vehicles driving towards the right at this section. Stay back and go to the rest area. He was the first to run over and bring me water and an oxygen tank. I said you don't need to take such good care of me. I ran through Sichuan and Tibet. The line has been disconnected several times. He chuckled, knowing you were capable. But let me do something. Otherwise, I won't feel at ease. How should I describe that feeling? It's like walking a long distance all by yourself. Suddenly, someone stands next to you and says, "You must be tired, right? I'll walk with you for a while." The fifth night, we camped by Ranyu Lake. That night, the moon was especially big. The snow-capped mountains looked dazzlingly white in the light. Everyone had a little alcohol, got into the tent and went to sleep early. I can't fall asleep, sitting by the lake, lost in thought. Zhao Tian doesn't know when he came out. Picked up 2 beers and sat down next to me. What am I thinking? I took the beer and said I wanted to talk about the past. It's pretty amazing. Just a few days ago, I was alone at home editing videos. Now I'm taking a vehicle to see the snow-capped mountains. He tilted his head back and took a sip. So that's why. People need to get out while walking on the road. You're the real you. I turned to look at him. The moonlight illuminated his profile like a movie shot. He suddenly turned his head and made eye contact with me. In that instant, the air became silent. All that could be heard was the gentle sound of the lake waves lapping against the shore. He whispered, "Can I kiss you?" I didn't say anything. Then he kissed me. The lips are cold, with the bitterness of beer. What happened later was only logical. In those kinds of places, that kind of atmosphere, that kind of flutter in the heart, it makes me feel like everything is right. We huddled together in one tent. Outside, there's the sound of the wind. Inside, it's the sound of his breathing. Woke up the next morning. He smiled at me and said, "I wouldn't let you regret it. I'm overthinking it. I'm not a child. It's just a game for adults. But I know in my heart, I'm just being stubborn." The next few days, we're like all lovers in love. He played music for me in the car. I recorded a video of him. In the evening, everyone gathered around a bonfire to eat grilled meat. He secretly handed me the best piece. The friends traveling with him teased Gao Dian. "You're spoiling your dog way too much." He just smiled, hugged me, and asked what was wrong. Jealous of my last night. Everyone gathered around the campfire, drinking Highland barley wine. The flames made everyone's face turn red. Zhao Tian stood up, holding his glass in his hand. Speaking of this entire journey, thank you all for taking care of me and Yoayu. I kicked him with my foot. He didn't even try to hide. The eyes that used to smile at me when I looked down were gone. There were especially many stars that night. So many that I think I've never seen such a dense galaxy in my entire life. On the way back to the tent, he held my hand, walking very slowly. I looked up at the sky, glanced at his profile once again. Suddenly, an idea popped into my mind. It turns out that the meaning of traveling isn't about how many sights one sees. Rather, someone is holding your hand amidst the scenery. In that instant, I think this trip to Tibet was worth it. Later, I returned to Beijing. He's back in Chengdu. Before leaving, he hugged me. Her chin rested on the top of my head. Ask me, Yoayu. Can we be together? I looked up at him. Smile. Don't be silly. Don't mistake a momentary impulse for true love. You're in Chengdu, I'm in Beijing. There are 2,000 kilometers between them. He's not willing to accept that distance isn't a problem. I can go to Beijing. Then I pushed him away. You don't want to work anymore. I don't want any friends anymore. Xiaotian, we're all adults now. Don't take the romance along the way too seriously. He remained silent for a long time. Finally, she said, maybe one day. You'll regret it. At first, I didn't take this statement to heart. Until one day in December, I started having a fever for no apparent reason. At first, I thought it was a cold. The fever went down after taking the medicine. It started burning again in a couple of days. 39 degrees, repeated over and over again. Go to the hospital for a blood test. The doctor said the white blood cell count is a bit low. Let me check again in a couple of days. I didn't take it seriously after rechecking. Got some medicine and went back home. December 23rd, I remember it very clearly. It snowed in Beijing that day. The hospital called and asked me to go there. There's a problem. I went to the doctor, and he took one look at me. Once again, I looked down at the lab test results. Silence lasted for several seconds. Here's a form. Please check this for me. Look down. It says, HIV antibody preliminary test positive. My head exploded with a buzz. It's really just like what's shown in those TV dramas. Suddenly, I couldn't hear anything anymore. The sounds around me seemed to be separated by a layer of water. I looked at that sheet of paper. Those few words. Watch it over and over again. But I simply don't know any doctors. The sound is extremely soft. Have you engaged in any high-risk behaviors recently, young lady? High-risk behaviors. Tense by Ranwu Lake flashed through my mind. A glance at his sweaty forehead. The sentence he said flashed through my mind. Maybe one day you'll regret it? I don't know how to get out of the hospital. It's snowing heavily. I didn't bring an umbrella. Just walking along like that. My legs went weak from walking. Squatting by the roadside for a long time. I took out my phone. Hands were red from the cold. It took 3 attempts to unlock it. The moment the phone connection was established, I didn't wait for him to speak. I'm just asking you directly, did you already know you were sick all along? There was a pause on the other end. What's the illness? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You must have known you had AIDS a long time ago. He remained silent for 2 seconds. Yoayu, listen to me. I yelled, just tell me then. Is it the person on the other end of the phone? He suddenly sighed. That sigh was extremely soft. But it's extremely long. Like a breath finally released after holding it in for too long. He said I only found out about it later as well. But by then, we were already together. I yelled out. The sound sounded particularly sharp in the snow. So you deliberately didn't bring any safety measures. You deliberately infected me, didn't you? He paused for a moment. I'm afraid to tell you. You just ignore me now. I really like you. Use it that night. I can't control myself. I listened to these words. I'm shivering all over. Liking something is simply liking it. He continued to speak. The tone softened. I know I made a mistake. But things have come to this point already. We're the same now. I don't mind you at all. Don't dislike me either. Let's be together. I'll take care of it from now on. Let's just live our lives together peacefully. I froze. What did you say? Let's be together, okay? His voice actually carried a hint of arrogance. Think about it, besides me. Who would want you anymore? How would you explain your situation to others? We're together. Take care of each other. I like you too. You don't hate me either. Isn't this just fine? I hung up the phone. I sat in the snow for a long time again. The next day, he called again. I didn't receive the message sent via WeChat from Yoayu. How have you thought about it? Give me a chance, please. I'll love you dearly. I didn't reply on the third day. He seems to be in a hurry. The tone is full of threats. Don't ignore me. If you keep doing this, what if I'm not careful? What if your fans find out about this? Anyway, I'm a grown man after all. It doesn't matter. I looked at that message. Fingers are cold. Hate consumed me in an instant. All right, let's just wait and see then. That night, I canceled all my accounts. Hundreds of thousands of followers. Cleared dozens of videos with one click. Looking at that button to confirm cancellation, I felt reluctant to press it down. But more often, it's hatred toward him.
I think.
He shouldn't just bring pain to others like that, getting away with impunity oneself. He deserves to be punished. I definitely can't let him have another chance to harm other girls. I started collecting evidence. Screenshot of chat history, phone recording. All the things he admitted were stored on his phone. What happens after that is simple enough to explain. File a police report. Investigation hearing. Took over half a year to get everything sorted out. In the end, the sentence was 2 years and 8 months. I wasn't there on the day of the verdict. I rented a car in Dali. A person drives around by the Urhe Lake. The sunshine is really nice. The water's surface sparkled under the light. I parked the car by the roadside. Cried for a long time, with my face buried in the steering wheel. Wipe away your tears after crying. Keep driving forward. I'm still alive right now. Still on my way. The account is gone. No fans left. But freedom still. Driving alone. One person enjoying the scenery. Living alone as a couple. Sometimes I can't fall asleep at night. I'll think of the starry sky in Tibet. I remember the words he said, pointing at the sky. Some stars seem close when viewed. Actually, it's tens of thousands of light years away. What lies between us are light years. It's my life. I don't think I'll ever get married in my life. I won't trust anyone anymore either. That kind of trust in others' abilities, it was burned away by that high fever. It's also good to be alone. No need to explain. No need to explain. Don't be afraid of getting hurt. The remaining days, I'll just get by like this. Look at the mountains and the waters. Let's see how many more stars I'll be able to meet in this lifetime. Being alone is fine.